How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis and we've got a new developer blog from the Old School RuneScape team. This is Deadman Overhaul. This developer blog has a list of changes that the Old School RuneScape team are suggesting and want to discuss with the community before they can implement them into Deadman mode. More specifically, I believe it's for Deadman mode seasons than the main Deadman mode game mode. But specifically, they want to make it so there's less questing involved and more killing of people. So the first change they want to do is claiming your victim's experience. In a way to encourage more player versus player action, they want to make players receive experience for getting kills. What they're discussing here is 25% of the experience of your victim's highest unprotected stat. So for example, if they've got 1 million fishing experience and you kill them, you'll get a lamp with 250,000 fishing experience. Only fishing experience, you can't get a different skill. Now I can see where the Old School RuneScape team are coming from, and I think rewarding players with XP after killing a player is not too bad. However, I am sort of questioning the idea of having 25% of their opponent experience given to you. Reason being, what if their highest unprotected stat is a combat stat? That means two players could be very similar combat level. One gets killed, obviously loses lots of experience, and the other one that wins will gain a lot more combat experience. And gaining that much combat experience in a short period of time is insane. Additionally, even if it is something like fishing like they had in their example, then you would still gain a lot of fishing experience. Perhaps the amount of experience could be scaled between the difference of the player that got killed skill and the player that did the kill skill, or maybe they could just limit it in general. So there could never be a way of getting, say, 1 million experience, because to me that seems rather insane. However, a little boost is quite nice. Or in fact, that's what they could do. They could actually provide a boost, like 10%, 20% over a period of time. So as soon as you kill someone, you get into some skilling or something like that. Next, we've got quest completion. And this is mostly to stop people having to constantly complete the same quests over and over again. This is considerably more of an issue in seasonal Deadman mode. For example, you have a season and a player has to do a quest. And then if that player gets into the invitational, then they've got to do that quest again to gain any power or any items in that invitational. So that's at least 2 times per season. And seeing as we've had about 4 seasons in a year so far, then you'll be doing that same quest 8 times a year. And I don't know if that's worth it. I don't know if Deadman mode players want to comment on that. It'd be quite interesting if they did. Do so in my comments below. But anyway, the Old School RuneScape's idea is in the next Deadman mode season, after a week, all quests will be completed for all players. And you'll get access to all of the content after that quest, but you obviously won't get the experience or the items that are rewards from that quest. I feel that the fact that Deadman mode players have to constantly complete these quests is a pain, and doing something like completing all quests after a week, maybe they could tier it so easy quests are done after a week, medium quests are after 2 weeks, hard quests after 3 weeks, etc. But completing them after a certain amount of time isn't that bad an idea. The only problem I have with it is, what if you want an item that is a reward from a quest, and it's key that you have that item? Are they going to make it so you can now complete the quests, despite the fact you've already technically completed it? Or are they going to make it so you can never do that quest and you can never get that item? Additionally, for the Deadman mode invitationals, all quests will be completed as soon as players log in, because obviously an invitational is only 1 week long. Next, content locks and removal. In the last Deadman mode season, they prevented players from using Ancient Spellbook and Barrows for 1 week. That had quite a good effect, and they want to implement it again in the next season they do. They're also going to be removing access to the Lava Dragons in Deadman mode in the next season, because obviously they are very beneficial for many players. And that's something they want to take away, just to make it a lot more of a fairer grounds for all the players involved. And I would say that's perfectly fair. Next, no more fog. They've had a few issues with fog in the Deadman mode invitationals, and it's probably been the worst in the latest Deadman mode invitational, where the fog was incredibly strong, killed off many players that didn't get a chance to find the final area. So they're suggesting they remove the fog mechanic and just make it so they remove access to chunks of the map. So if a player's inside one of those chunks, they'll get a small warning that the area is going to be removed. If they run away, then that will be fine, but if they don't, then they will die. Additionally, the final area won't be quite as closed off as it was last time around. There was a very small one-way door, which I think was completely ridiculous for the Old School RuneScape team to actually place the door there. So in the next Deadman mode season, they will be marking an area that you have to go in to not die, but they're going to make it so it's not as hard to get in. It'll be more of a free, larger area that players can come in and out of. Personally, I feel that this is a very similar mechanic to fog, and really they should have just fine-tuned the fog a little bit more. They just needed it so when the fog started to hit you, it wasn't really doing that much damage, and it would give players a certain amount of time to go to an area. But after that amount of time, the amount of damage would be increased so much players can't withstand it. Essentially pushing players a bit faster, but not impossibly, to the final area. And then, after an amount of time where a player should be in the final area, it will kill them. Unlike that last tournament where it just killed people in about 3 to 5 seconds, which was absolutely ridiculous, and I really disliked it. Additionally, they're actually announcing the final area of the next Deadman mode invitational. It's going to be at Overhaul, which is the demon ruins in the wilderness. That was a fairly popular location when they did it in the last Deadman mode season. I remember that was amazing. I showed my housemates. They saw the amount of players in that area and just thought it was insane. And of course, people enjoy PvP in the wilderness. A lot of clans like it because they know it quite well, and I think it will be beneficial for them to put it there. Although personally, I feel that they should become a little bit more creative with their final area ideas. So far, they've only done free-to-play areas, and I don't really see why. I'm pretty sure it's a members-only feature, so they could do it anywhere in the map. Might be a bit harder for players to get there, but if they, say, did a teleport to a nearby area, like they did with one of the most recent Deadman mode seasons had something similar for if you were in a members area, they will give you a teleport to a free-to-play area. So they could easily do it, say, for example, if the final area was Ardoin Castle, everybody can have a teleport to somewhere in Ardoin. Could be the zoo, could be near the Gnome Stronghold, could be West Ardoin, or it could be the Market Square, who knows. But really, just giving players a way of getting to it, it doesn't necessarily have to be in free-to-play. And finally, we've got the final hour beta. The Old School RuneScape team have hosted a variety of invitationals and therefore final hours. However, there are a few things they still want to test with it, just to make sure everything's going to be working. So they will run a beta for the final hours soon. This will give players a big chance to see how things go down in the final hour, because players like myself, I don't have a Deadman mode account, so therefore I don't get to participate in it. However, I do get to watch it on the streams, which is wonderful. So the Deadman mode final hour will give players like myself an opportunity to see how the final hour plays out, and it will give them a few testing opportunities to see what they can do to improve all the mechanics going on there. Hopefully there'll be a few more details on that soon, because obviously it's not happening right now, and we've got quite a bit of time before they start the next Deadman mode invitation. If you want to discuss anything in this developer blog, please do so on the forums to let the Old School RuneScape team know, and do so with me because I'd love to talk about Old School RuneScape. If you want to watch my video on the last Old School RuneScape developer blog, please click here for the poll system. And if you want to watch my video on the latest Old School RuneScape update, please click here for raids improvements. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, DevBlogs and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.